Mr. Obama, I am pleased to meet with you today to debate the serious problems that will destroy the future of the United States of America if not addressed with leadership.
Problems. I have plenty of talking points for this. Sorry, just a little hot air. We are out of the recession. The skewed unemployment rate that my administration put out is going down. Our falsely propped up stock market is flourishing. U.S. oil production and alternative energy is at an all-time high. Bin Laden is dead and terrorist groups are on the run. And by the way, I am serious about cutting the deficit. Above all, Obamacare will be fully implemented at the beginning of 2013. This is change you can believe in.
Barack, you cannot actually believe this political rhetoric that you pass on to the American people. Your failed policies have placed America under financial and social distress. However, I am glad you brought these issues up so I can clarify the truths to the uninformed American public. We can start with the unemployment rate. You claim that you have created 4.5 million jobs when in reality there are 400,000 fewer Americans working today than when you took office. Your policies of spending trillions that we cannot fund have greatly failed and have been a total waste of spending. There are more Americans living in poverty than ever before and the underemployment rate is at 16.6%. Can you defend this?
Everything that I promised cannot be done in 4 years. Shovel-ready wasn't so shovel-ready. Hectares, ha, ha, ha. I need another 4 years, and maybe some more after that through executive order. We have to move forward. And besides, the rich hasn't been paying their fair share.
To clarify reality, the top 2% pay 50% of all income taxes. They earn this through hard work. Is this not fair? Why do you play the class warfare and racism card in the public eye? You have single-handedly divided the country more than ever before.
They have enough money to pay more. We need to level the playing field. Equality for everyone.
Interesting ideals. Kind of sounds like a path to socialism. Anyway, let's move on and speak on the economic issues pressing our country in the near future. When you came into office, you said that it was unpatriotic for President Bush to run a budget deficit of $400 billion. That he was taking out a credit card from the Bank of China in the name of our children. Why is it that you have run budget deficits all 4 years of your presidency over $1 trillion per year? You actually propose even more spending than that, but thank God that the Democrats and Republicans voted 100% against your budget proposals.
Well, I cannot lead this country with the Republicans not working with me.
Mr. Hussein, it was both parties that voted 100% against your budget proposals. You have raised the national debt from $10.6 trillion to $16 trillion in just 4 years.
I need bipartisanship to get things done.
Actually, Mr. President, you have found your way around Congress multiple times. You are now monetizing our debt by printing money through the Federal Reserve. Very few investors in other countries will buy U.S. Treasury bonds because they are growing unsustainable. You are now printing money that devalues our dollar to pay for massive spending programs that we don't need and can't fund. You have increased our monetary base from $800 billion to $2.6 trillion. Aren't you worried about coming massive inflation? There are serious consequences for these actions.
I have full faith in what Ben Bernanke is doing with the Federal Reserve System. I have appointed the majority of board members of the Federal Reserve and they are doing what is right for the agenda. With the fiscal cliff approaching, if Congress does not raise taxes, we will just print more to pay for unnecessary spending. Also, I will just have the CBO skew the inflation numbers as usual to show the American public that the inflation is not as bad as it seems. The sheeple will believe whatever I say.
Speaking with you makes me believe that you're really full of shit, Mr. President. The majority of Americans oppose Obamacare. But you had the bill rushed through the House and Senate when the Democrats had control of both. Its projected costs at the time were $800 billion, but now it is projected to cost $2.4 trillion. There is a mandate in the bill that requires every American citizen to pay a tax penalty if they are not covered. You pushed it through and promised that it was not a tax, but the Supreme Court has ruled that it is a tax mandate. And what about the RFID chips that are set to be placed under the skin of the beneficiary of Obamacare no later than March 2013? Do you think this is a violation of privacy?
I appreciate your concerns on these subjects. Yes, we had to get it pushed through for Congress to see what was in it, haha. Yes, Obamacare is going to cost just a little more than projected. Some people's feet might get stepped on in the process of my vision of a national healthcare program. You see, I am fundamentally changing the America that you once knew. The American people have voted and they have made their voice speak loud and clear that they are for my socialist agenda. We are moving into a new age of technology with the RFID implementation, a new age of the world coming together, a new age where collective ideals bypass individual freedoms to move forward.
You have many inconsistencies of what you tell the American people and what you really are doing. You are fooling them with your savvy speeches and false promises. Let's talk foreign policy and relations. You claim that this administration would be open and transparent, yet you have used executive orders to cover up information such as gun running to Mexico in Operation Fast and Furious. You blamed a YouTube video for terrorist uprising on our USA consulate in Libya that had multiple Americans killed, including an ambassador. And in secret meetings you told the Russians that you would have more flexibility after the elections to support Russian missile defense. You signed the United Nations Disarmament Treaty that is the first stages to make private gun ownership illegal. Whose side are you on, Mr. Barack Hussein Obama?
Well, there are ongoing investigations on these alleged incidents. We will not stop until we get to the bottom of these scenarios.
Do you always avoid the serious questions, Mr. President? Never taking responsibility, and why would you, with the media never holding you accountable for this administration's failed policies and cover-ups? These are the questions the American people deserve to have answered.
Using the same rhetoric, I will continue to avoid the serious questions, and as I always tell the media, I will continue to look into these events and we will get back to you when we have all the details.
I am saddened by your visions of orchestrating a collapse of our economic, monetary, and political system of checks and balances. The writing is clearly on the wall. You are consistently taking away the freedoms of the American people. I can only hope that they will soon awaken to these monstrosities, but by then it might be too late. You are moving us into an age where national sovereignty and freedoms are trumped by the United Nations, or even worse, the coming of a one-world government.